President Bola Tinubu's activity during the Eid celebration. He visited President Bola Tinubu, visited the Ogun state where he made a stop at the palace of Awujale of Ijebuland, Sikiru Adetona. Governor Abiodun was on the ground to receive President Tinubu, who landed at the Adetona Stadium in Ijebuland on a Nigerian Air Force helicopter. Here, he noted that he invoked the spirit of freedom and determination in Ogun State, where he faced some hurdles before the election. Lagos was next on the agenda, where the governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu, held a welcome reception for President Bola Tinubu. Here, former governors Babatunde Fashola, Akiwumi Abode, and current Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu meet with the president for the first time in 4 years at Tinubu's reception. Joining me to discuss this in the studio is Olufemi Lawson, the Executive Director, Center for Public Accountability. Welcome, Mrs. Olufemi. Yeah, so it's been an interesting event during the week where the president noted that he had to invoke the spirit of freedom and determination during his campaign days in Ogun State. How important do you think this was for him during his final win in the poll?
It's significant. I remember this is the first time the president is coming home since his inauguration on May 29th as the president of Nigeria, and visiting Ogun at that same time was also symbolic. If you recall that through the process of, the practice primaries and other campaign activities towards securing the APC presidential ticket and, of course, the general election, Ogun was one of the places where the president now, the then aspirant under the APC, Bola Tinubu, then made, some statement that actually gave life to his presidential ambition then. The visit to Ogun State during the campaign, on two significant occasions while he was canvassing delegate support and, of course, while campaigning as a candidate of the All Progressives Congress, was so significant to the extent that it's redefined the issues around the presidential campaign. It was so significant to the extent that people saw the candidate of a ruling party coming out to challenge certain policies that are considered not only against his interest, as a candidate, but also at that time imposing hardship on Nigerians. So it was historic that it was in Ogun State that Tinubu, then now President Bola Tinubu, voiced out, his resentment to the politics that was being played by certain elements then within the All Progressives Congress and later within the then administration, which had some element within it trying to, frustrate his effort to become candidate and later to win the election as the candidate of the APC. So going back to Ogun State becomes important, and of course, reminding the people what happened during the electionary process was so very significant.
Some say it's also strategic. Some say it's also strategic for his future political ambition.
Of course, not only for President Bola Tinubu. Ogun State has always been, a very important state when you talk about Nigeria politics. When you look at the history of, politics in Nigeria, Ogun is one of the states that have produced leaders. It's one of the states where people who have reshaped our political destiny as a nation has emerged from. Today, the essence of this republic was tied around the emergence of, Bashir Abiola in 1993, a mandate denied, with an agitation that led to the rebirth of democracy in 1999. If you look at when even the military, hurriedly abandoned governance and handed over to an interim civilian government, it was still from Ogun State that Chief Ernest Shedeko was brought. And in 1999, when democracy was to be returned, it was still from the same Ogun State that former President Obasanjo was brought out, to contest. So Ogun State has always been very strategic when you talk about the political evolution of Nigeria. And I think that is why the president now has, of course, made that clear in a statement while in Ogun State.
All right, Olufemi, another interesting event or an interesting activity that happened during the week is the presence of Ambode in the reception to honor President Tinubu. Did you see that coming? Did you see that union happening? And what lessons do you think can be learned from there?
Of course, there have been a lot of assumptions, and insinuations around that. Of course, there have been some moves to reconcile the former governor body to his old political family. And we saw that prior to that, he had his 60th birthday, and the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, was present during it. But it is very significant to note that the president specifically mentioned and deliberately welcomed the former governor back into the political family, by specifically identifying his, recognizing his presence, and of course appreciating his presence at that event. And that tells you one thing. It tells you what people have often said, like him or not. President Bola Tinubu has been described as one politician with a large heart, who is always willing to accommodate even his political foes when the opportunity arises. And I think what the president demonstrated during that reception further, confirms the fact that he's always willing to accommodate even those who have been on the other side of the divide with him politically. And I think it's significant that we saw people who have governed the state from 1999 till date coming together at that reunion openly in a very significant occasion like that, that is welcoming one of them who has now become the president of Nigeria back to the state.
All right, let's also talk about some admirable speeches the president made during this event, which is message of faith, unity, and renewed hope. How would you describe this, the whole president's speech?
It's important. The important message is Nigeria needs to have faith, but most importantly, Nigerians are having a lot of hope for a rebirth, because when you look at where the country has been in the last couple of years, you realize that Nigerians need a leader who will not only give assurances as such that has been given by the president, but who also demonstrates, practically the readiness to restore the hope of Nigerians. Because Nigerians have been fed with rhetorics over the past couple of years. Nigerians have been fed with rhetorics, promises, and assurances. But I think now we are beginning to expect the president to advance from the realm of promises to the realm of practicalizing these promises and the renewed hope that it has promised. And I think Nigerians are anxiously looking forward in the days ahead for the manifestation of what President Bola Tinubu has been known for as far as governance and leadership is concerned. And I think that is why he has restated that during those events that he had during the course of the holiday. And I think the president must move beyond the realm of speeches to ensuring that more practical interventions are made by his administration to really and genuinely give Nigerians hope again.